Everyone, my name is Jordan, also known as X-3. Today I want to guide you guys on how to create the Polybird mono synth. This synth kind of reminds me of a parakeet bird if you were to shove them into a synthesizer. I also made a controlling trying too hard. This controls the LFO rate and it screws up the synth quite a bit. I think it adds kind of like a Polybird touch to it. Listen to this demo as I explain that while moving this knob around, and then I'll show you guys how to make this synth. The first thing we need to have is a Thor. Throw in a initialized patch of Thor. For my first analog oscillator, I'm going to boost it up 1 octave. I want to take it to a sine wave. I'm going to take the filter 1 frequency all the way up so it doesn't filter out any of the harmonics. My second oscillator is going to be another analog oscillator. I want to take it down 1 octave to give it some more sub bass. And make sure the sync is turned on so that way any note I hit for the first analog oscillator will be mimicked in the second analog oscillator. So every time I hit a key here, it will replicate and make it sync. The third oscillator I'm going to use is a wavetable, and I don't take it off basic analog and I throw it up 2 octaves. And I make sure that 2 and 3 are routed through here. I then turn on the shaper to give it some more warmth and turn it all the way to the bottom waveform, which is wrap. I take it a little bit above halfway, so about 84 for that, to give it some nice higher harmonics. I make sure to route it to filter 2 with these 2 buttons, and I choose a comb filter. I take the frequency all the way down, and that's it for the comb synth. It kind of gives it a little bit more of a dreamy sound. If you want to make it absolute dreamy, just turn on your delay, turn it on tempo sync. You want your time to be at 2/16, and you can take your feedback down a bit and throw up your dry wet to half. I like my synths to be at 4/16. It kind of gives out that lonesome feeling. For our third filter, we're going to choose a comb filter again. I don't move the frequency or the resonance. Actually, let's throw the resonance up to 18 and just turn it on negative. Throw up your sustain all the way so that way it doesn't lose any volume over time, and your release a little bit to 600 milliseconds to give it some end result without cutting off just straight. So that's pretty cool. In order to give your Polybird some characteristics, what you can do is you can take your LFO1 and make sure it's mounted or routed 100 all the way to your portamento. And your portamento can be found, oh, it's right here, portamento. So if you turn on your key sync, you won't lose any sound over time, but I'm going to make sure it's on a rising waveform or curve number 7. So if you turn up your rate, you will start to get that Polybird effect. If you turn on your portamento and set your range to 24. That's only if you turn it up all the way. If you have this in a combinator, so if we combine this, hit show programmer, click on the Thor, and for our rotary one, all you have to do is go down to your keyboard and you should see Polyphony. And that's your controlling of the portamento amount, but that's not quite right. So you want to choose your LFO 1 rate. So that way it will control this, which controls the source down here. So that's pretty interesting. All I do to make the sound a little bit more prominent in the mix is I throw in a pulverizer and a maximizer. Pulverizer, just set it to about 1/4, however much squash you think the synth should take, but I just set it up a little bit more than 1/4. I turn on my soft clip, set the amount to full, and that's basically it for the synth. So that's pretty much your Polybird mono synth lead, or actually it's polyphonic, but you get the idea. I'll check you guys out here in a bit. I'm going to show you guys how I create a synth. So yeah, stick around for that.
Hello everyone, it's Jordan, also known as X-3, and I want to say thank you guys so much. It really does mean a lot that you guys are watching these videos, and I also want to say that there are demos that are going to be released a little later tonight. Finalization of those demos will be